Dude,
You
Derek,
get down.
I can't tell you how happy I am to hear from you, man. It's been probably, has it been 2 years or 1 year? How long has it been since we talked?
Probably been over a year.
I mean, like, time kind of, I guess is pre-COVID was the last time we talked, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, gosh, what has happened since then has just been too much to go through right now. But
Yeah.
it's the best of times, it's the worst of times.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you mentioned earlier in the chat that you've been taking some steps towards kind of being a little bit more self-sufficient over there. What's changed over the last 9 months? I know it's been a lot. It's been difficult for a lot of people to procure meat. And if you guys don't know, Derek Nance, he's been doing like a fully carnivorous diet for how long now?
10 going on 11 years.
Yeah.
11 years December.
Yeah. So Derek's 10, 11 years, slaughters his own animals, right? So last time we spoke, he was talking about you were mainly on mutton. So you'd find quality sheep, you'd butcher at your house, and that would save a lot of money. And I think a lot of people are probably going to be thinking about this, maybe if not now, soon, if there's another wave of food shortages. So I think it's funny how relevant everything we talked about like a year and 2 years ago has become all of a sudden for so many people.
Yeah, and it became kind of urgent for me. Where I live, there was a bottleneck in the meat supply chain because a lot of the butchers shops shut down, during the COVID, and a lot of the farmers couldn't get their meat to the market. They just couldn't get it there because everything was closed down, and so people are backlogged. Small family farmers can't even sell what they have, and people who want to buy good quality meat can't find it.
But
So there's a huge bottleneck.
you could buy an animal though, right?
Right, and there's a lot of farms that are just having trouble, getting their meat to the market because of what's going on.
Yeah.
And then there's a lot of people that are buying out, like, when the food shortages first hit, a lot of people went out and just bought everything they could buy. And so I had kind of a shortage on my end, just trying to look for good animals sourced from some of these farms.
Yeah.
And so for the last few months, I've been struggling just to get my basic sources. So I said enough's enough, and I decided to start looking for my own place. I got a friend that set up a few acres, and we're almost getting the fencing completely done. And I got a few animals ready to go on it. And within a couple of weeks, I'll have my own little place set up.
Congratulations, man.
Where I
How many
and
what kind of fencing are you doing?
just sheep and goat fencing, the woven wire.
That's nice. Yeah.
And so at the combination, like there's an old barbed wire fence against the back property that we're
Okay.
trying to mend, and
Yeah.
then I'm trying to do new fencing and gates up towards the front of the property. So it's a task.
Yeah,
So it's
mending
taking-
barbed wire fences is not easy, man. Like tying them, and it's not a fun task either.
It's in a mountainside, so there's all these old growth trees that it's grown into the barbed wire. Some of the trees have fallen down, so you got to do a lot of clearing. So it's a lot of grunt work,
Yeah.
but it's fun and it's rewarding. And just recently, I've gotten into contact with a man who's running some of these small farm cooperative organizations,
Okay.
and he's been contacting me about maybe even setting up a mobile butcher shop because he can't get his meat to the market. So I might even be out there sometime in the near future employed as a mobile butcher because of what I've been doing for so long, and then helping maybe teach other people how to process their own animals, because this is
Yeah.
where it needs to go.
Yes, absolutely. And this is why I love talking to guys like you. I mean, people who are actually doing something about this, right? I mean, there are a lot of people doing things about it. I'm not saying that everybody's got to do what Derek's doing, right? But Derek is kind of blazing a trail for a lot of people out there. Butchering your own animal. He was purchasing mutton, he was getting sheep and butchering them in his backyard years ago. People thought it was crazy, but he was saving so much money. He wanted to eat nose to tail, so he's like, he wanted the bones, he wanted the organs, he wanted everything, and he found a way to do it. And that was butchering the animal at home. This is what everybody used to do. This is what everybody does here. People keep rabbits. That's another good thing. Rabbits are cheap. They breed like crazy. They don't have a lot of fat. If you're gonna be doing Derek does a fully carnivorous diet, so he needs more fat. But as far as like a protein and animal food source, rabbit meat is fine, right? So rabbits, here they do guinea pigs too. They call it cuy, and they've been doing it for thousands of years. And people, they keep the guinea pigs in they use like a mesh so that the poop falls down below. And all you do is you go out and you cut some, they call it monte here, you cut some weeds for them, you bring it to them every day, they fatten up, and then you can butcher those at home. Now, that's a lot easier than a sheep or something like that, a little bit more advanced. But that's a good place to start. Like you can butcher your own rabbits at home, you can butcher your own chickens at home, and that's because you're going to be better off doing that than buying stuff in the store from a lot of just as far as quality goes.
Yeah, backyard chickens, anybody can do. I mean, unless you're local restrictions, but even then, you can get around it.
Yes.
So anybody can keep a small coop with some chickens and then raise their own eggs and butcher their own birds. And then go out, if you're really adventurous, you can hunt small game, small animals. And,
yes.
When hunting season comes around, find somebody who's an expert and just learn. I mean, for your sake, for your family's sake, in the future, these shortages might not just be minor inconveniences.
Right.
They might be going to the government food line and getting a bunch of soy meat or having to source your own food yourself. So why not take this time as an interim to train, to learn, to find out ways to source your own food so that you can be independent. Yes. No matter what, even if things turn back on, you're still going to get a bunch of garbage at the local grocery store. And why not just go get something else from a small family farm? Yeah. And you can offer yourself, like me, I do labor, I do trades. And so you don't necessarily have to raise your own animal, but you can source small family farms and then work within those communities to support those people and to help them expand their operations. And yes, so if you have a work in town, you can still pay money to these small farms and help develop and grow that infrastructure. Yeah. And work to build these sustainable food systems.
Yeah, I love that, man. That's why I like talking to guys like you. It really inspires me. I grew up without skills like that, right? And, I remember being a kid and a little punk-ass kid. My dad would try to teach me things, and I'm just like, whatever, man. Whatever, man. I don't even know that.
I got a 13-year-old son, and I'm trying to take at least a couple of days a week out and teach to work, and it's an uphill battle.
Yeah.
Like the culture these days, the kids just
must be way worse.
They want their they want their set lifestyle, and the culture is just so invasive. It's almost impossible to get away from.
And this is the thing, right? So it's that generation gap. They don't want if you're trying to break down the fabric of society and reformat the worldview of people, you don't want generational knowledge getting passed on. So I think this is super important, right? Like, look, if you got kids, it might take a lot of patience. It might take a lot of time to break through that membrane and teach them things, but it's worth it. It's worth it. I mean, for their future, for the future of the culture, it's well worth teaching them these things.
And then my friend also has a project, and it's one of these dreams that may or may not come true, but he's talking about working with some of these reclamation of old mining and logging land out in eastern Kentucky. And he's got a proposition for running herds of about 3,000 animals. Yeah. And he wants to bring in herders from Peru, people who could live on the land and actually herd traditionally, these large herds across 15,000 acre spans. And to reclaim some of this land that was just kind of abandoned after, the capitalists came and took all the logs and all the coal out of it. So he wants me to be a part of the project, So I've just been getting these offers now. So I think that we can use whatever's going on, whatever you want to call it, as an opportunity, to get ready, get prepared, and maybe even build your own future, become more self-sufficient, more independent, and then use that to take you through whatever this is.
Exactly, man. And a lot of, don't just sit by the sidelines and wait for someone to do it. Right? Yeah, you might not know anything about what you're trying to do. You might not have any clue on where you're going, but just put your foot in the door, or find somebody who does know what they're doing, that's got patience, and latch onto them, and ask them to help you. Right? Do an exchange, do a work exchange. There are a lot of situations that can be amended by just simply taking control, taking responsibility, and doing it yourself. And a lot of people are thinking all of a sudden, all right, maybe I should be doing some of these things myself. And guys like Derek have been out there doing it for years. So what's your
audience? I just butchered an animal today. Actually, I
Show
went
us,
out and
show us
got
the fridge,
a big
man.
ram,
Show us.
and I got it put away. That's pretty much my job for the day.
How long does it take you for a ram? Because we're gonna butcher a ram soon too. Pretty
Uh,
nice and fat.
I don't know
Look
if
at
you
that
can
fat.
see everything, but it's all kind of crammed in here.
A lot of fat. That's good.
Yeah, this is a big boy and all grass too. Like you wouldn't believe like a 4-year-old ram that's been out on a pasture. Like this is the fat. This is a
Whoo!
whole of the gut fat.
That's a lot of fat. That's good fat.
Absolutely.
Let's see the
Here's
liver.
the liver.
Let's see that liver.
It's
Point down. There you go.
not much on it. I still got the gallbladder attached. I need to take that off.
What about the kidney? Where's the kidney?
Oh, you're gonna make me play a scavenger hunt. See the kidneys. I think I buried them in another container. There wasn't enough room for everything.
What do you
But I
like
got
better,
some of these.
kidney or liver? You got to choose.
Everybody, these.
Look at that.
Oh, maybe they can't see what these are, but
Testy cows.
I don't know if you want to censor that, but
No, man, that's actually one of the best parts of the animal. The people don't realize that.
the huevos.
The huevos are the best. But what do? You don't use the skin in any way, right? The skin on those?
Skin. Here's a spleen.
How's the spleen
So
taste?
yeah, it's real good. I'll eat that. And I got a big bucket of guts, and I'll have to go through that. I'll even make the guts into my signature smoothies.
Uh-oh. Derek's got his gut smoothie coming up. He eats the stuff from the inside of those guts and everything. A lot of people are so afraid to eat animal foods, and Derek's out there squeezing the stuff out of the guts and saying, "That tastes kind of nice."
Intestinal mucus, the mucous membranes, all that stuff. It has precursors to immune cells. I mean, stem cells. Everything's in it, and the probiotics, prebiotics.
Here they wash them
that
out with a
you're
hose.
Raving about.
They squeeze them out and they wash them out with a hose, and then they make soup with them, the intestines.
Uh-huh.
But Derek, he does them raw.
Yeah. Well, I'm something else.
Derek's next level.
I got my raw meat right here. I was gorging because I haven't eaten a good animal like this for a long time. I finally got a hold of the guy who's the sheep guru that's going to set me on my path. So
Yeah, it's a deep color. It's a nice deep red.
Tonight.
It's a nice deep red on that one. It's really nice. You see some of the crappy stuff you see in the supermarket where it's almost pink, but it's like I love to see when the meat's really dark and it's got herby flavor. You could taste the different grasses they eat. The liver tastes different on a good quality animal. Look at that. What do you? I've been a big.
Yeah, this liver flawless almost. I got liver.
I love liver.
Like really good.
What do you you eat the liver first or the kidney, or you do different order? Because I really like kidney lately. I think I like kidney more than liver right now.
It comes and goes. Like
Yeah.
sometimes I'll have a craving for the kidney. I don't know if it's the mineral salts or there's something else in it. Different mineral balances, and yeah, sometimes I like the kidneys, but primarily the liver when it's fresh right out of the animal. Like this is the first day.
Yeah.
All the glycogen's intact, all the enzymes is alive. So like I'll eat about half of it fresh within the first few days, and then I'll hang the other half and kind of let it dry age.
Well, you dry age the liver. Are you still doing that? That's cool.
Yeah. Well, everything dry ages when you hang it up in the meat locker like I have. It just aerates. That's the thing. Keep it aerated. Don't wrap your meat in plastic. Don't keep it in some sealed container and just let it sit in the back of the fridge for a week. Just let it air out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. You put it into plastic and you set it in the fridge. It's gonna get funky. It's gonna get the juices start coagulating, different colors on it. But yeah, it's always better fresh. But I don't mind fresh frozen, right? You get it, you bring it home, you freeze it, and you pull it out. To me, I don't think it's too bad like that. I don't think it's too different. But
No, I'm not that on that string. There's some of these raw carnivores that like Agenus vonderplanets never freeze, and I don't buy into that. I think that in some situations when I have a lot of meat like this, and this is a big animal, I'm not going to be able to go through it all fresh. So I'll take packs of the fat, maybe pieces of organs, and then just freeze that away so I'll have some fresh to mix in with my aged meat. And I think it takes a balance. I really like a balance of really, really fresh. And even if it's frozen, like if you freeze it within a day or so after slaughtering, it still has that glycogen in it. It still has the the living enzymes that, some of that stuff fades away after you dry age. So I think it's good to have a balance of really, really fresh as well as, aged meats.
Yeah, and freezing for a long time will change. Like you could feel a difference when you freeze it for a long time. But hey, frozen for 2-3 weeks or a month, to me it tastes just as good, feel just as good. It doesn't seem too different.
Yeah, whatever depletion in any of the nutrients, it's minimal.
Yeah.
As long as it's not in the bottom of a deep freeze for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah. After a long time, you do start to notice a difference. 4 or 5 months.
Well, I hate to keep up all the stream. I'm sure we're up pretty late. You want to just check back in with me some other time, or you want to keep going?
Absolutely, man. Let's get you in here again. I'm really glad you called in, bro. Maybe we'll do.
I have a lot of thoughts about what's going on, but I don't want to get my views out there because we might have to go 1776. And maybe some of this stuff. The Sons of Liberty will rise again. If you're watching,
it's getting crazy out there, man. I don't know what it's like in Kentucky, but I've talked.
Oh man, our governor's one of these people that just we're in this together for the economy. Mask up, Kentucky. He's just pleading for us all to put our mask on and wear them everywhere. Dude. And it's just, I guess it's around the world, but for those who know what's going on, we can see through it, but there are a lot of people who can't see through it, and they don't want to see through it. And when I try to call to these radio stations, I get cut off.
Like that? I used to do that in 2008, 2009 and call in. I remember I got cut off by Hannity. Some of these people, man, they're like, there's certain words you could say. I called in Hannity. I started talking about geoengineering back in 2008, and he went off real quick. And it was like, oh, wow. Like that was a very strange response. Like I don't understand why anybody would be that mad about just the word geoengineering and weather modification. And he got pissed off, man. Hung up on me right away, called some names, and I was like, "Damn, Hannity, you done showed your hand, man." I don't know. He's big now. That's what's funny, seeing how big he's gotten the last few years. I always remember that. I always remember how Hannity treated that caller that talked about geoengineering and weather modification.
Really are. This is who those people are. They do not want you to talk. They don't want to have a discussion. They want to lord over and then have you kiss their butt. Mm-hmm. But I called a local station just a couple days ago, and there's a call screener. He's really cool. I started talking to him off the cuff, and he's like, "Yeah, you should call in on Friday. We have this doctor." And so I called in on Friday, and he let me right through. And so I started talking about the false positives and stuff like that. And he just went into this rant about how these tests are so new, and but the protein that it tests for that identifies it, this convoluted thing that has nothing to do with what I was asking.
Right.
And then I was going to secondary question them about the fault and how what they call the coronavirus, it's not the full spectrum. They don't have the full genetic layout on any one of these tests.
Yep.
And that's about the time they cut me.
Yep. Yeah, no, you can be testing for any coronavirus, any one of the coronaviruses that are out there.
And he says, like, yeah, I've been in the media about 30 years, and I don't believe anything they say. And this is the call screener for the mainstream show that I'm trying to
Exactly. He's like, yeah, I know these people are idiots. They're shills. It's ridiculous, man.
People we need to reach. There's people underneath in all the organizations out there. And don't be afraid to just speak up and ask.
Yeah.
Because you might not know who's going to be sympathetic and who's not.
Dude, this is important. I'm glad you mentioned calling into radio stations, because there are a lot of shows live on the radio all the time, reaching thousands of people, and anybody can call into those shows. Hey, just like now, just like all you vegans always talking shit, saying you want to debate, but then when I open up the lines, none of you call in to debate, right? But you people who have actual knowledge about what's going on in the world, call into these radio stations, ask them hard questions. Talk about some of these subjects, right? Hey, they might cut you off and hang up on you, but then you'll get to know exactly who knows. You can tell when they cut you off and hang up on you. They don't cut you off and hang up on you because they've never heard this before. They know that you're not. They know that it's off limits, right? So call into these radio stations, guys.
The control of the story. That's what Plato talked about. He who controls the story controls the world, and we need to quit being shut up.
Yeah.
They try to shut us up and not allow us to speak our stories and our truth. And then that just gives the controllers the free reign to just create with all this madness. They're science fiction fantasies. And we are living some type of X-Files type story right now.
You see the new Last thing I'll ask
rewrite
you,
it.
did you watch, I haven't seen the recent one, but a few years back, X-Files did another series, and they had stuff about like pandemics being released, fake alien invasion. Everything was in the reboot of X-Files. I don't know if you saw it.
Yeah, it's all part of the script.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like I said, we can rewrite our own stories. We can create our own world. Hey, there's
I think
Joanne.
it's time, man. It's time for people to start calling into these shows. So I think I think that's some good advice, man. I want to hear you guys calling in these radio stations. Ask some questions, right? Ask the right questions. Call these radio stations. Call the radio shows when they got open lines. Hey, call us when we got open lines too. But Derek's got a channel. We put your thank you. Okay. Just put Derek's channel, his YouTube channel, in the chat. I don't know if you've put anything up there recently. Let's see.
I have not done anything for years.
4 years.
Like me and my brother put some butchering like demos on there.
Yeah.
And that's one of those things that maybe I should take more motivation to get into, to put some more information out as far as what I do, because I think it would be helpful to the growing carnivore community. Because 10 years ago when I started this, it was a frontier. Like a lot of people, in the forums at the time, this would never catch on. This would never catch on. And then just in the last 3 or 4 years, the concept of the carnivore diet, became widely known. So I think that even though a lot of the information's being shut down, we can still get it out there. And I'd like to be able to, at one point, do a few more of my demo videos to just explain how I butcher, how I process, how I put and store my meat away, just to help educate other people and encourage them to do the same thing.
Well, Derek, I know sometimes when you haven't been active on a channel for a while, YouTube hides this channel like crazy in the algorithm. Make sure you guys are subscribed still. If you're watching this, you might not even be subscribed anymore. They've been unsubbing people constantly. The algorithm does not like this channel right now for many reasons. So make sure you're subscribed, and then check out Derek's channel. Derek, I encourage you, man, please. I would love to share if you have some I don't know. I think you can't show actual slaughter, but the processing of the animal and the cleaning of it. I would love for you to make some videos like that, and I'd love to share them when you got them out. So please do, man. Please show us how your butchery process goes and how you are storing it, and we can maybe we can talk about it again. Like, you come on and we can chat about some of this stuff, and we can go through some of the footage and help people out, because there might be people out there who could go buy a sheep or a goat, maybe a few miles away from them, maybe 30 minutes away from them. They can get 2 or 3 of them and maybe stock up their freezer for what might be a difficult winter when these governments start going nuts and trying to shut down the economy and do whatever it is they're doing in their little global homo Bolshevik revolution that's going on right now globally. It's going to be important. The sources of food, quality food, is very important. So Derek Nance, carnivore legend, carnivore vet. It's great to see you, man. We got like 4 more people in the chat. I could talk to you all night, but let's.
We'll make another day of it. Let me get some more materials in, and I'll see how this adventure goes with my farm, and maybe once I get it up and running, and just kind of let you know,
please,
how that goes. And my project with this other guy who's setting up a mobile butcher unit. I mean, I think that would be a golden opportunity for me to reach a lot of these small farmers and just set up direct farm to table, no middleman.
Dude, that would be really good.
Relations be damned. We'll find a way around it, because there's a way to do animal shares where you don't have to have USDA inspection if you just have the people buy it directly. And I think that's where the future needs to go for meat. They can try to ban it all they want, but if you can go directly to a farm and put cash in his hand and he can give you an animal, there's no receipt, there's no government oversight. You can just go get your own. Don't ask for permission. Don't ask for forgiveness. Just do it.
DIY. There you go. Derek Nance, thanks a lot for coming on, man. I can't wait to talk to you again. Thanks you. I really appreciate you calling in. I'll talk to you soon, Derek. By the way, you look super healthy, man. You're looking great.
Oh yeah, I'm feeling good. Like I said, I've just now gotten a good source of food, and I think this will revitalize me and it will power me through whatever this next phase of life, and I'm looking forward to it.
All right, man. Well, I'm glad to hear you're doing good. I hope the kids are great, and I'll talk to you soon, Derek.
All right, talk to you soon.
Later, brother. First Zoom